Anyway, Ballroom Bliss 60. Is that a title describe it as? I'm gonna show y'all how to fix screws or bolts or threads. Alright. Dep- it depends on what it's used for, whether it's worth fixing or not. If it's something like highly important, it'd be best to buy another screw. Or if you're going to fix it, it better to anneal and re-harden it up. Basically, heating and then cooling it rapidly, or heating it and then, depending on the metal, you can superheat it and let it cool off over time to harden it, and then wet it and then repolish to harden it fully. It is the same thing with bolts, since most bolts are used to hold something heavy. Like if you got a deck or a Porsche or anything like that, you need through bolts and straight bolts, and you don't want to refix those because those are designed for their specific use. And if they break, you just need to buy another one and replace it, unless you can make the bolt with the same density and hardness and tensile, the same strength as that way you wouldn't have to broke. Anyway, to fix those, I did it for one of my class. I used to do a lot, but the method they show is way different. It's way more complicated, but whatever. I'm going to show you that method, not mine. Anyway, this was for my firearm class for tools. No, not for tools, for fastener, for firearm inspection and troubleshooting. They sent me aluminum plating since it's aluminum soft and three screws. The problem with this was the screw was bigger than the whole aluminum plate itself, so whatever. Anyway, when you screw in something, if there's no slot or hole in there for it, and you have to make a hole for it, it depends on what you kind of hole you're trying to make. With your screw, is it no? Is it a bolt? Is anything with thread? Is anything with a pin? With screws, you need a drill bit. There's bores, there's tape, there's jogger bits, and then with nails, there are pre-nails where you use a pre-nail to force hole in smaller than the nail itself, a little bit smaller than the actual nail to go in, where it can fit in and stay in. We use the proper nail that's the size tiny bit bigger than the nail you pre-made. The same thing with bolts. Pins, on the other hand, had to be made slightly small, more so than the other ones, but not so much where you had to beat the pin in to deform it. If you, some of you who know, there's like so many terms for what I see. You bore a hole into a substance. When you bore a hole, depends on the purpose for it. I'm going to give examples. You got to make it a bit smaller than the screw, thread, bolt, or pin itself, or you can make it a bit same size as it, or a bit larger. Larger usually when you have something on both ends, or you sliding something else in there, or you need to space it in. Same size when you want to get that perfect in there, and a bit smaller is for more secure. It's to secure it more better. Now, if you're doing it smaller, you need to start with a prep drill or prep tape. Taping is making threads on the inside, or making the hole on the inside to have the grip points of it. Then you use a die to increase the size and increase the strength of tape when you drill in it, and you go a bit bigger, but it still be a bit smaller than that. Then you use a jogger bit or a pre-drill bit, and you go a bit, add more in there. Then after you're done all that, you gotta blow everything else in and out. You don't want nothing in there. You don't want nothing in that east face. You do it. Now, depending on what you're drilling, like wood, metal, you need to constantly keep that hole clean, like this. Plastic, you wanna do it properly the first time. Um, what is it? Next thing is as you clean the hole out, once you finish cleaning that hole out, you then need to get ready to apply wherever you want to apply in there, whether it's thread, screw, or not. You need to or and clean that item like nail, bolt, and all that stuff. You gotta polish it good, make it look good. You don't even have to polish it, you just gotta clean it, make sure there's no damage to it, or it's gonna screw the stuff over. If you're using a nail, the best thing to do is get a nail gun. There's air nail gun, there's electric nail guns. If you just gonna hit it with a hammer, you need a proper size hammer with a proper head on it, based on the design what you want. There's flat ones, there's ball pin ones, there's the ones with bumps on it, the little nuts on it, etc. And then for screws, flatheads, and hex and stars and all that stuff, you want to use the right driver or the right bit for it. You don't want to use those bits that are pointed, sharp, where if you go into the slots of the head, like this slots here, like this, I don't know if I can see it. Those slots, you go if you use the wrong one or if you turn too much, you can damage it. And there's different versions for the ones you want to do. Now, when you go in it, if you go in metal, you supposed to go at certain speeds where it's making a ribbon of metal that's coming off with it. The ribbon supposed to stick together as it come off, um, like this. You want to depends on what you're using. You for small nails, you want to use high speeds but low feed rate. For larger nails, you want to use low speed, high feed rate. For wood, it's completely opposite. For metal, it's a toss up. When you drilling in wood or drilling in wood, you want to make sure the wood bit off the same thing as metal. You want it to ribbon out, but it doesn't have to be as long as metal does. Plastic is another story. It does not have to ribbon out, but as you drill in there, you want to pull out of it, clean it out, and constantly do it. You want to keep it straight as possible. That's why you need to use a stationary drill press. A hand drill press is good enough if you got a straight hand. Hammering, oh man, have fun with that. All right. Once you do all that, get the proper size, snug and fix in there. Congrats. Now, what if you break it? What if you torque screw it as a proper word? When you torque according to them, when you torque something, it's basically meaning you put so much force in it, you destroy the grip on the inside of the hole, and then you accidentally went further in, not further in, but the screw or nail is stuck on something that wasn't meant for that, or you went the opposite direction improperly and you got it stuck, or you went too deep with it. When that happened, one of the major things to do for metal, you oil it. For wood, you hit it with the air can, and for plastic, you hit it with the air can, and you can use a light heat torch. Metal, you can use a light heat torch as well, but wood, you don't, because it will harden the wood, and it will suck the metal, depends on screw or pin, whatever, into it. Once you do all that, you need to slowly bring it back out. Now, let's say if you get it all the way in like this, um, you end up screwing the slot up, which is what we had to do for Simply class. Now, I have my own way of fixing this. Usually just make it, and that way I won't have to worry about it. Or if I did mess up this far, I just redo it with something else. My own manner. But their way is It's one of my older ways, but I didn't like it because I hate it. Basically, what you need to do is file this or polish it till you get all the inconsistencies out of it, like some of the metal sticking up, some of the wood sticking out. And then if it's a metal screw or you doing a metal, once you finish polishing down, you need to put a thin file profile that go inside the slots, and you need to slowly rearrange the slots where it get correct for the a next bit. And after you finally did that, you then need to degrease that. That's metal wise. Once you degrease it, you can give it the same color as it was before, whether it's black or gray, like blue and stuff, light gray, whatever, heat it up. Now, if it's standing there with wood, like wood pans and wood screws, that's not metal, you can reheat it or do some type of hardening of the wood that give it back its strength. Now, plastic ones are a bit difficult because you have to make Ryzen just to fix those. That's beyond this. That's my stuff. But like I said, once you finish polishing it, degreasing the alcohol and rebluing it or do something to give it back the zinc color, you can find oil it again for the final thing. You can have a good screw again, or good thread or good nail again. That's if you screw up the slots. Let's say you're dealing with a nail or anything like that, and you cross thread it. Cross threading is basically you went in the wrong angle, not going in straight, and you got gap stuck on gap. The best thing to do with that is to take it out slowly and then rethread the inside with a size a bit bigger, just a tiny bit, or actually rethread with the same size and put the screw back in there. Now, if the screw does not go back in there correctly, you need to make it bigger, and then use a more grip, put the same screw back in, or get a different one that's that size to go back in. Let's say you actually cut your freaking screw or you find a screw or a nail that's cut. The only way to get those out, which is what my experience, is to use a extractor. They call it extractor. I use a suction cap or air cap or a bunch of other stuff to get it out, kind of like damaging stuff on it. But once you use a extractor screw, basically it's not a, basically what you get is a stronger drill bit that's a tad bit smaller than the the minor diameter here. And before you do that, you need to cut and make it flat here in the entirety. Make it, then polish it again where it's clean. And then you need to use a drill bit that's a bit tinier than this. And then you need to drill slowly. It had to be stronger than the item you drill into. Okay, if it's hardened steel or case hardened steel, you need to use an even harder item to do it. And once you drill in there down here, you need to reverse that. Okay, it should grip on the inside, and when you pull it out, you should pull the screw that's in there out. Now, if it's plastic, you can use you once you drill in there, you can drill it out and then heat the extractor screw, the extractor drill, wherever, to go in there. That way you can melt it on the screw. That's my stuff, and pull it out. And with wood wise, you can plus do the same thing. If you heat a punch item, just beat the crap out of it, you can pull it out while dempster items aren't okay with. Heat that object up, and it will make it harder and not the surroundings of it, and that object become more easy to pull out. But anyway, that's how you fix a screw. Refill it and re-give it its shape. Polish it again. Reheat it, re-oil it, re-tap or re-drill the area, or cut the head off and use it, re-drill a tiny hole and then pull it out. If you can't remove one rusty, use penetrate or slowly get it out. You don't want to force any screw out or else screw or nail out or else it's going to damage the surrounding. Just give it time. Use can of air or oil can. penetrating oil, heat it up, freaking heat the ceramic up, or use a extractor. There's many ways to extract rather than just drilling in there. I know one way of extracting is one of my ways I used to do it. Yeah, when I used to pull nails out doing metal framing and wood construction, wood framing and all this stuff. There was a some type of drill gun that they had that it sucks around the item, blow hair, and sucks the thing up like a vacuum. Like nails just really just pop out of it. That's that way. And then the cheaper way of that doing that is getting a vacuum, hitting with it, getting a real tiny vacuum but with a really good pump, and then having a hole in the pump where you're just beating the crap out of this and we pull it out without damage around because it's a vacuum. But anyway, that's how you fix a screw.